Hey folks, uh, I hope you are doing great and welcome back to the channel. Yes, so today I just have few stuff to share with you. It's one of every trader's upcoming challenges and how we can overcome these challenges. So I believe every trader as they come to trading, they come with that mindset that they need one or two indicators that they are going to use, and that those two indicators or whatever the indicator is going to give them the most, right? Or some type of the greatest indicator, some type of the best indicator. And I went through the same process. I looked over all the indicators, and most of them, I came to a realization that a lot of those indicators are lagging. They react to the price action. All the information that they construct is based on what is happening with the price, and that gave me I was a little bit disappointed because I spent a lot of time adjusting the indicators, changing the measurements, playing around with them. I couldn't believe that some of these indicators couldn't really give me what I I really want. Yes, and then I came up with the RSI. I'm not sure if you know the concept of divergence and convergence. It's I felt like yes, no, I'm getting somewhere. That was great. The fact that you can, it was sort of a leading indicator in terms of the future prediction and all that. That was great, and until I fall back again, that's when I realized, too, it really doesn't work all the time. Yeah, sometimes it's just performing according to the price. It's just giving me the prediction according to the price behavior, right? So I came to a point whereby I couldn't really know what to do, right? And that's where I put more of my focus to price action. But what is tangible in price action? What is price action? What really made in price action? But anyway, that's a topic for another day when you talk about price action in detail. But to me, yes, I then start to learn and relearn. Through as I always tell you guys, filter as much as you can, and learn as much as you can. I ended up filtering all the information that I learned um, when it comes to indicators, and I left with nothing. Yeah, I couldn't want to do anything with an indicator because they wasted a lot of my time per se. However, if they work for you, that's actually great. Continue using them, because this video is not about don't or use indicators. It's about what then come to me when I will say no. I'm really, where am I going here? Right. I reached a point whereby I think it was a boiling point. I was at a structure whereby I had to decide, should I, it was a breaking point. Should I continue, or I should be doing something else? I should be, probably I might not, maybe markets are not for me, right? But with all that knowledge that I have, with all that enjoyment that I've been getting from the markets, and the stress that I've been also getting from the markets, I had to compare and remind myself about my goal, which was financial freedom and the ability to be my own boss, right? That's when I go back to the drawing board and I had to restart everything. Yes, I started by searching the definition of success. What does success mean? And in simple definition, is the accomplishment of an aim or a purpose. So, if I don't get profitable, it simply means I'm a failure, right? But who do I have to go and ask? Please help me to be profitable. There was no one. There was only YouTube. There was only websites, and there was no individual that could say, here's how you do it for you to be profitable. I just had to find it by myself. And how did I do that? After finding out what success means, I draw a very bold line. And on the left is what success is. But now, in my career as a trader, what is success? And I started putting down some notes, right? Success to me is the ability to wait for my strategy to come up, right? So the ability to wait was the challenge. Then I put it down. That's point number one. And I have to make it very clear. I have to have the ability to wait. These are things that I have to work on, no matter what, because I had enough. I'm tired. I'm exhausted. It's either now or never, right? And then the second point was the ability to risk a certain percentage per trade, just in case. Although I believed in my strategy, just in case of a mechanical failure, I still have to survive a storm. I still have to be able to enter another trade. That was one of the key, right? Then now I have to put this down as my second important point. I have to have the ability to say no. If I'm entering, I need to risk a certain percentage. No negotiation, no flop on that, because if I just make a mistake on that, I'm getting back to blowing an account, which is not nice. Absolutely not nice. Doesn't matter how big is your account, you can blow it. So the ability to risk only a certain percentage. Doesn't matter. I'm the one who determines my percentage that I want to risk according to the trade, according to the setup, according to the time, according to how is it looking like, according to how much I want to risk. But the most important thing is the ability to say, in this trade, as I'm entering, I'm allocating this amount of risk for this trade. And then the third one was the ability to consistently execute my setup, right? Yes, now I have the patience to wait. Now I know how to allocate the risk. The most important thing is to not be fooled by the markets. I have to only execute my setup, because at some point I would say I'm entering a trade. Today in the morning I had a setup. Yes, it went well. Later on during the day I'll be like, probably this, my setup is not gonna come obviously today. Let me just try to come up with something. Then I lose all the money that I made earlier, and then I get frustrated again, and the whole thing is messed up. So I have to. It was a must now that anything that is not my setup, I'm not participating. Please, there's no negotiation there. If there's no setup, no entry, close the computer up until the setup reviews itself. When we don't know, I don't care. Whenever it happens, then for me to blow my account and then see a setup coming through. So that was That was the third point. That was very, very important. This is on my left side. These are what needs to be done. Right? This is for me to be successful. I need to do these three things. Very simple. No complication. No big words there. It's just a very simple. Very simple steps that needs to be followed. As a business person, this is how the business is going to be run, right? And without this, I'm playing. But what has been causing all these failures, right? I had again to reassess myself and put them on the right side of the line, right? And the first one was just entering without a clear setup. Yes, you know that I think I mentioned it on the previous video. If you haven't seen it, please check it out. When I was talking about just to have a clear setup, to know this is my setup, and when happens A B C D happens, that's when I'm going to enter a trade. Although I had a clear setup, right? Sometimes I could just mess it up and then ended up ignoring or being impatient of waiting my setup. So that was my mistake. I had to write it down, and I had to learn from my mistakes as soon as possible. Just to enter without a clear setup was a crime. Yeah, it was a fault. I was not allowed to do that. Either the market will punish me, or I, I, I could just end up in a state that I won't like myself in. So after this point, then I had to believe in the setup to an extent of risking the whole account in one entry, right? Yes, my setup works. Whenever my setups comes, right, I'm entering, a lot of trades. I'm opening a very huge lot size. It's fine. I'm gonna wait for my entry. That was another mistake. Yes, my setup works. Yes, I believe in my setup, but doesn't mean you have to put all of your account at risk in one entry. That was one of my major mistakes. Yes, I was very, very confident about my setup, but there's one thing that happened that day. I I I I couldn't wait for one thing to happen. Although I had about one confluence confirmed, second one confirmed, third one was just supposed to be waited for me to have a clear entry. And I jumped the gun, and I lost my account. Right? Doesn't matter how long was I building that account. It's just gone within that. So that comes back again to the issue of the ability to risk a certain percentage. That goes along with that point. So yeah, no matter how much you've been testing and back testing your strategy, there's a point whereby your strategy can just have a mechanical fault or a failure or something like that can just happen, right? So yes, wait for your setup. Even if your setup came out, you don't need to put all of your account at risk in one entry, right? And then the other thing that I was making a mistake was to alter my entries to justify my entry. So it's like my entry, my setup, it has to have this. For example, when it approaches the trend line, if it doesn't break, or if it doesn't pass through the trend line, and then I'm entering the opposite direction. This is an example. I'm not saying do that. And then as the price gets to the trend line, as it approaches, you start to see some weaker candles, and then I'll be like, yes, okay, this is great. Now it's my time to enter. I see the weaker candles. I don't mind all other confirmations or confluences. I'm entering, right? Only to see that it was just, it was just going, it was just slowing down so that it can punch the trend line very aggressively, and then I'll see myself on the other side. So it's a combination of these things that I had to put down. This is myself self-assessment. I recommend highly that to you to have a self-assessment. This was my breaking point. No one is going to come and tell you how you are going to be profitable unless you do your self-assessment. And by what I've said, for me that worked. And I became a person whereby I do not care anymore, because I had enough. I had enough. I just want to be profitable. And profitability to me was something that was so far away. I wanted to be consistent, and consistent was something that I thought it would just come, not knowing that myself, I'm the one who is blocking my own profitability and consistency. Then after that, I started to work on the success side of it, whereby I had to put down a very important key. Either I have to read the paper before I trade in the morning. I had to remind myself to be very, very careful, because the markets are not friendly, honestly. And yeah, before I get to trade, I would go to my paper and, okay, here's some of the most important things that I wrote down. But for my success, I need this. Right, this is my toolbox. For me to reach my success, I need to have a toolbox, just like any other people. Technicians, they have their toolbox. Camera people, they have their toolbox. Those are very important. So you need also have your own toolbox. All right, in just that our toolbox is it's in our mind, and it's in our, you know, it's with us all the time. So the patience, or the ability, or the discipline, right, for my setup to, if I, so yeah, it was in a way that, okay, for my success I need this. I need patience, I need discipline, or whatever that is. Maybe I don't have the name, but I need to wait for my setup to come through. Because the words like discipline, maybe they are, overused, or they are, I need to be very disciplined. But now I don't need to use such words, because I had to say, no, I don't need to use very, very strong words here. The simplicity is the ultimate key. I need to wait for my setup to reveal itself. Point taken. So, I will wait for my setup to reveal itself. What is my setup? My setup is very clean and well in precision what I want to happen, so that I say this is my setup. If you don't have that, I think you should check the video how to have a clean setup. It's there in my, just check it out on this YouTube channel. And then the second point, right? Always set aside the maximum amount to be risked for that particular entry. As simple as that. I'm not saying don't risk, or I'm not saying use certain percentage or what. Only thing that I was telling myself was, at least allocate, so that when things goes the opposite direction, or the way I don't like, I'm aware, right? That will not affect me that much, and that will push me again to say, well, let me risk less, because I already program my mind that I am likely to lose this amount of money, although it's my setup, right? So by putting it out, it's giving me an awareness of, okay, you need to be very careful. When you lose, you don't need to start again, man. You don't need to start again. Yes, you lose, but you're still balancing, you're still in the game, right? That's very, very important. And then only execute entries that matches setup criteria all the time. That was the last point. All the time. If there is a need to adjust or play around with my strategy, probably alter it or probably edit it or probably change something, that has to be done outside of the live account. If the live account is here, it's only there to execute this strategy, period. There is no any other entries or trades that are gonna be experimented with when it comes to the live account. That was the key, and up to now nothing changed. When I came when I come to my desk to sit and say my trading session is starting now, I am that person who has rules. I am that individual who works with rules. And those rules are as simple as they say, as clear as they say. If you break one, you break all. There's nothing satisfying as after your trading day you come and say, okay, I did abide to my manual. Yeah, I call it the trading manual. I was following all my rules. Yes, at first I could have some exceptionals, but I have to be aware of them and I have to pinpoint them in my journal. So yeah, I think there's another video again about journaling, the importance of journaling, and how do you most effective ways of journaling. Please check it out. It's there somewhere. Yeah, so it's something that is fulfilling, right? Although I didn't make money, although I made money, the point was, I'm did I really manage to follow all my rules? That was something so amazing, right? That was the foundation of how I became profitable and consistent. And I managed to eliminate a lot of mistakes like over trading, a lot of mistakes like oversizing, a lot of mistakes like that would just stress me out and keep on in in the sake of doom. So I had to reach a point whereby I do this. So without those slaps, I had enough slaps from the markets, some punches from the markets, until I had to come back to myself and sit down and construct such a manual. So if you still see yourself confused and not really knowing what works, what doesn't work, please, it comes back to you. You have to be real. You have to work on very very important aspects when it comes to consistency. I'm sure this channel will help you out. I'm not giving a lot of credits to this channel, but that is what it is meant for. Yeah, it just meant to give you the real stuff. Yeah, no fake outs, no rush. It's just for us to, to discuss the reality of the financial market. Yeah, and if you have any questions, please do comment below. I make sure I get to check your comments and make sure I respond. But with this, I hope it will help you. I'm sure this will give you a heads up and become a better trader, and be able to self-sufficient and yeah, rely on yourself financially. As long as the markets are there, your setup will always come through. Yes. I don't think I am going to be in a position whereby I'm going to teach you how to trade. No, I'm not teaching you how to trade. I'm training you how to trade. This is the reality of the market. So please do subscribe, and please share with some other people who might be in need of such content, and hope to see you on another day. Talk to you again on another video. With that, I was saying cheers for now.